Welcome to the pilot episode of First Team All Purpose with yours truly, Sean Alcide, and my co-host, JD. JD, you look like you're cozy in the New York City right now. Are you still in summer mode, bruh?
Nah, man. We're adults now, man. We don't get no summer. Like,
Yo.
My summer hasn't been fun at all. What about you?
Man, my summer was 6 weeks short, as you know. I'm back at work. I'm back teaching in the building today officially. Summer ended. It went by too fast. We can never have enough summer, honestly.
Let me tell you what irks me about some certain states, like Texas, like Florida, like Connecticut. School should start in September. Like, it is mind-boggling to me how, like, you guys start in August and it's still 97 degrees outside. Like, I can't do that, bro.
Well, public schools, I think, start in September. We're charter. I work in a charter school. So, yeah, we don't operate like public schools. We go back 2 weeks before everybody else does.
That's insane.
That's all it is. Yo, that shirt, you bought that shirt in Cleveland when we went to All-Star Weekend.
Cleveland, man.
That was at the what? That was the event with Myles Garrett and
the StockX.
StockX event. That's right. I thought you was gonna flip that shirt.
That was lit, man.
I thought you were gonna flip the shirt.
I needed it, bro. I needed it. It goes with a lot of outfits. That was the trip from hell, though. We'll tell you about that story one of these podcasts. That trip was crazy.
Cleveland Airport is a freaking disaster in every way, shape, or form. It's a disaster.
Not even the airport. The Uber ride.
The Uber drive.
Dude, when I tell people that story, the look on their face is like, yo, this guy is lying right now. It couldn't have been that bad. Dude, it was that bad.
And thank God he didn't make it to us because I'm afraid of what you might have done.
I had to get talked off a ledge like twice, bro. Like, I didn't get home till 6 p.m.
Yeah, I remember.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, we'll tell you guys about that story one of these days, man.
Yo, let's jump right into it. Very serious thing going on right now in the world, not just America, because this is actually not currently happening in America. But Brittney Griner, right, has been detained now in Russia since February for a weed pen, cannabis oil, and, you know, Russia takes that stuff very seriously, right? Like, having weed is not something that is as casual as it is here in America. So she's been detained. She's had her trial, and the prosecutor is, you know, the prosecutor suggested 9.5 years, and the judge ended up sentencing Brittney 9.5. Was it 9 or 9.5?
I think 9.5.
9.5 years in a Russian prison. And currently, you know, President Biden is saying all the things he's supposed to say. He's saying they're going to do a prisoner swap. And well, at least it's reports. But he's saying they're doing everything to bring Brittney home, and someone else that, you know, is also jailed in Russia. But what are your thoughts on this matter? Like, is Brittney Griner's thing a political issue, or do you think Russia has all the rights to be detaining her for this long?
Dude, It's a tricky situation because, like, it's so multifaceted, right? Number one, it happened to her at the wrong time, right? So you have this huge war with Russia and Ukraine. I feel like if it was any other time, she could have probably been home already, or maybe not even get arrested for all we know, right? Because the laws out there are strict, but there's been other people that kind of skate away, especially like celebrity type, but they're definitely using her as like a prop to say, okay, since we got one of yours, this is what we want, right? And my whole thing about this whole situation is like, listen, are we going to go down a path of like, okay, since you got our star athlete or our celebrity, let's do a swap. But if you look at the people who they want to swap, bro, it's not like regular civilians.
Like Satan himself.
All right? Like, imagine if this was in Mexico and they like, okay, we got Brittney, give us El Chapo back.
Yeah.
What would we do? Yeah. Do you go down that path?
I think because of Brittney's stature and who she is and how, you know, everyone, not just the WNBA community, but how everyone, Americans, social media has rallied around her to the point where now the president is considering the swap. You have to do the swap, don't you? If you don't you fear that this can just go on with other, you know, happenings that may go on in other countries?
But that opens up the floodgates, though, right? I haven't seen enough movies like where someone travels somewhere and they purposely set them up, right? So like, let's say the next time another American goes to Russia, they set them up, and now it's gonna be the same thing. Like, yo, we got one of this athlete, we got one of your civilians, we need this guy back. Where do you draw the line to say, yo, we can't keep on doing this? Or are we gonna ban Americans from not going to Russia?
I think Americans should never go to Russia anymore in the first place. I saw somebody, I forgot who said it. Someone tweeted that. I think it was actually Lexi Brown from the Los Angeles Sparks, WNBA player. She said, I am never going to Russia. She said, I don't care what's in Russia. I am never, like, right now it's just, anyone should be thinking Russia is the last place on earth they would want to visit. Because first of all, what's in Russia? Right. I mean, I've never been to Russia, but I've never heard of, that being a great tourist place. I know Brittney was there to play basketball, but what would the average American wanting to be going to Russia for anyway? So for me, I'm all set on Russia now, like, period.
Just work. I mean, she was there for work, She
was there for work. Right.
Like, I never hear people taking vacations out there, but it's one of those situations. And this should be an eye opener for everyone who travels. I always bring up this show, and even if you have time, I want you to watch this show. It's on Discovery Channel. It's called Locked Up Abroad, right? It's probably 7 or 8 seasons in, 10 episodes per season. And it shows you how, like, you can travel to another country and have something as minute as a vape pen. And bro, they're throwing out football numbers for that, right? Like, as much of, a lot of stuff goes on in this country, you really have to travel and see other countries to be like, all right, we kind of have it easy and lax in terms of some of our laws. Bro, some of these other countries, they don't play that, man. Even in a place like Jamaica, like I told you before, you can't be out there even smoking weed. You feel me? So I think people should really take time to look at the situation and be like, all right, when I'm traveling, especially you're American, you kind of have this target on your back to, like, kind of fall back and be easy and try not to get into things.
So I ask you this, you brought up a point where you said, where do you kind of say we can't allow a Russian demon, for the lack of a better term, out of jail simply for a swap? But I ask you this, if they allow Brittney, like if America just said, Biden, right, or whoever becomes president in the upcoming years, say, well, they'll allow Brittney to do her 9.5-year sentence, Gene. Do you not think that's a bigger, like, whoa, what in the hell is going on, where you allow someone to serve 9.5 years where you had a chance to do a prisoner swap? What would that speak to the country or to whoever's in charge?
I think the other decision will be harder. I think the other decision of doing the swap is harder, because at the end of the day, did she have the pen or not? She did, right? But just because we value something as small as a vape pen as a minor offense, we can't really dictate how other country looks at that same situation, right? Like you just said, how could we let her go for a demon? Like, the guy that we have, isn't he like one of the biggest arms dealer? Like, he sells missiles and weapons of mass destruction to other countries, and this is who they want back.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm happy I'm not president, man, because I don't know. Yo, we would have to call the Avengers to go get him, bro.
Yo, and that's, I think that's where a lot of people are. Like, if they are gonna, detain Brittney, and I think the big concern is not that she's gonna serve, or they want her to serve 9.5 years. It's that they might kill this woman. Like, we don't know what Russia is going to do. And if at that point, if Joe Biden were to allow something to happen to Brittney Griner in a Russian jail, he would not be, I don't think he'd be safe at the White House. People would be coming for him like, bro, you had a chance to do the swap. So what? There's other criminals. You're going to say there's other arm dealers out there. You can't jail them all.
Yeah.
Like, and just because this guy is locked up doesn't mean that Russia's not, don't have other guys doing it. So I think, again, the devil's advocate is just really, it's a tough spot. Like you said, it's a tough spot.
It's a tough situation, man.
With all the attention that has people atting Joe Biden, from LeBron James to Sue Bird to freaking, whoever it may be, atting Joe Biden, like, bruh, do something. Steph Curry, he almost like, it's like peer pressure. You have to.
Yeah. I mean, for them to even be discussing it shows you how important it is, though.
Right.
Because our main thing is, never negotiate with terrorists, right? You see that in every movie. We don't negotiate with terrorists.
It's a new America. Like Jim might say, new media, this is a new America. We're finna be negotiating with some terrorists like a mug.
That's insane.
Nah, but Brittney Griner, right? She's a WNBA superstar, Olympic champion. She's currently obviously in Russia. She can't play, and her team Phoenix is still, showing her love, missing her, and on and off the court, right? The WNBA, like, do you think the WNBA is, trending in a trajectory that is going to bring the popularity that everybody seeks? Or do you think this is kind of like the plateau with how well the league is doing, that we just got to try to sustain what we have now? Or do you think there's another level up for the WNBA to go?
I think the state that it's in right now is apex. I've seen recent research that shows that, their merchandise sales has gone up, their TV rating has gone up tremendously as well. But at the same time, if you look at the overall numbers, they're not really still generating as much as they should be, right? So what that shows me is, like, I always bring this up. What is the biggest sport around the world? Not the US, around the world. That's soccer, right? And in the US, we don't give a damn about soccer. Only time we care about soccer every 4 years, whether it's the Olympics or the World Cup. And I kind of put the WNBA in the same stratosphere as that. Like, we care about women's basketball when it's the Olympics, and we sort of, kind of care about like women's college basketball. But from the outside looking in, I don't see what else the WNBA can do to make it a bigger game. Like, the athletes are the best that they've ever been right now. Like, you're watching some of these games, these women's got handles, they got step back threes, they finish strong at the hole, and there's a handful of them that's like literally dunking in every game, but yet they're still stagnant of where they should be at, right? So I don't know, man. Like, how can they go in a different direction? What should they do? I'm at a loss. I don't know what. I think they've hit their apex.
As someone, who covers the league, covering the Connecticut Sun, I was able to experience All-Star Weekend in Chicago a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I think, again, one of the common things, as soon as you said, what can they do to bring the game to another level even more? Players, media members, front office execs complain about this alike. The WNBA app is a terrible, I don't want to say a terrible product because it sounds like I'm bashing it, but it is not a great product. Like, there are times where you'll go on the app and you cannot watch a game because it is being played in a area nearby or a blackout, right? Yeah. And there's sometimes, like, the app gives you options where you can check player stats and it just doesn't work. So I think that's a start, right? Fixing the access to the app, to the game for viewers.
But here's the thing. If they start a movement where everyone is tweeting and everyone is complaining about it, then they'll change it. But it can't be a handful of people, a handful of players, right? Like, change starts with a huge movement. And not to cut you off, but a lot of times when people talk about the WNBA, I don't feel like they kind of grasp, they understand the game part, but they don't understand the business sense, right? Like, even when you talk about women's pay in the WNBA, I'm like, everyone's pay, whether it's baseball, basketball, any type of sports, is basically based off how much revenue that league generates, right? If the NBA was generating the same amount as the WNBA, guys like LeBron wouldn't make $50 million a year, right? So your pay is relative to how much revenue you bring in. But I feel like it has to be that one coalition of, everyone is in the same boat and like, listen, let's really try to push this thing forward. But like you said, just a handful of people ain't really gonna make them really look or care about the app.
Yeah, and again, it's really unfortunate because the app, like, I think it costs like $17 for the entire year. Mm-hmm. Like, you buy it one time and then you have access to games for the entire year to the app. As opposed to the NBA, league passes cost you $200. So again, it's very affordable, but it doesn't work. It's not very accessible for games that people want to watch or, want to follow and keep up with. And I think, again, not bashing, that's if I had feedback for the commissioner, that's the first thing that I would start. You got to fix the app because, as you say, for the casual, sports watchers who may not be avid NBA or WNBA watchers, if they go on and say, let me give this a shot, and they go on the app and it's not working, they're not going to circle back 3 or 4 times. They're like, okay, next. Like, I try to watch this thing, it wasn't available. Now I got to move on to the next thing. So I think, again, if there was something that I would say she should fix, you got to start with the app, make the game more accessible. and from there, I don't know, see if that helps, right? But
How long is the WNBA season? How many games?
there's I think 40. I think there's 40 games.
Okay, and it pretty much starts right after the NBA ends, correct?
Yeah.
Which is also the summertime. People are traveling. How about they?
Well, it starts. Yeah, it starts a little like right before. Right before.
Okay. So what about a change in schedule? Like NBA starts in October, WNBA starts in January or February when people are at home. They're not really traveling. It's summertime now. Everyone's taking, their vacation time, spending time with the fam, spending time by the pool. There's no football, basketball is done. I think maybe a change of schedule, you would probably see viewership go up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're going to change the entire format of how the league worked for 25 years, but
yeah,
that's any suggestion I guess is better than none at
Adam
all.
Silver, hit my line, man.
Pivoting to issue Adam Silver has on his hands.
Woo.
Kevin Durant is not playing with the Brooklyn Nets. Like this guy demanded a trade on like the day after the draft. And then, we've been all speculating where he's going to go. Is it Phoenix? Is it Miami? Nothing has happened because it's hard to trade a guy like Kevin Durant, right? And then, reports where there was a meeting this week or last week. I don't know when it took place exactly, but the reports came out yesterday that Kevin Durant went into that meeting and said, listen, I want to get the heck up out of here. But if y'all want to keep a brother, I need you to get rid of Steve Nash, and I need you to get rid of the GM, Sean Marks.
Is it both or?
He said they both, BOAF, both. Okay. So the Nets owner, Joe Tsai, came on Twitter.
Tupac. He said, y'all want to see Pac? Hold on, son.
He came on Twitter and said, I don't know what KD think this is, but this is my team. And he doubles down, obviously supporting Nash and Marks by saying, we stand with those guys and our team, the Brooklyn Nets, is going to do what's best for the Brooklyn Nets. Essentially telling KD, you can go kick rocks, but we're not finna get rid of Marks and Nash just because you want them gone to stay here. What are your thoughts on that whole fiasco in Brooklyn? I know that's your squad, man.
All right, so that's my squad, and you can really look at it on both sides. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm leaning towards Nets ownership, and I say this because
I know you don't love player empowerment.
No, I actually do, but it gets to a certain point where I feel like athletes have to be real with themselves, right? Because they went to the Nets, we gave you the franchise, right? They listened to you to a point where, like you said, they had DeAndre Jordan starting over Jared Allen because Kyrie and KD said so. Then we traded all those guys for you to get James Harden, right? Bro, that's player empowerment right there. Everything that you asked for, you got. You wanted Patty Mills. You got Patty Mills from the Olympics. You begged them to come to the Nets. They got it. So where I kind of agree with KD, from what I'm hearing, he didn't want Steve Nash, right? Yeah. And let's be real, I've watched Steve Nash for 2 seasons, and I'm not trying to hate on the brother. He's a horrible coach, bro.
But the KD and Kyrie said they didn't need a coach. They were the
I think they saw that hire, and they were just like, yo, bro, we don't need a coach, man. But it's just like one game stood out to me, right? I remember one time, this was last season, KD's coming off an Achilles injury. This was like game 4 or 5. I think it was against
the Bucks.
It might have been against the Bucks. You played that man 57 minutes because it went to overtime.
Yeah.
Coming off an Achilles injury that he sat out for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And this was a meaningless game. This was like game 5 or 6 in the season. That right there opened my eyes like, yo, you're not paying attention to the small details that you need to pay attention to, right? And like I said, they gave him the keys to the franchise. We made a bunch of moves. And I think for KD, the icing on the cake was like, all right, I really felt like, and if you watch that series, if they have Ben Simmons, I'm not saying that the Nets were going to win that series. Is a different series. All right. We watched Gary Payton play pretty good defense on Tatum. Ben Simmons is 6'9". He would have made it hell.
He's 6'10", I think.
He's 6'10". And if not anything, he plays pretty good defense.
No, he's a great defender.
The great defender, you know. So I feel like if he was on the squad, the Nets, even if they didn't win, it would have probably won 6 or 7. Remember, they should have won game 1. And if you look at every single game, average margin of victory was like 5 or 6 points. They weren't getting blown out every game.
Yeah.
But they were
game 1. They should, like you said, they should have won game 1, and a couple of games in Brooklyn.
But what I'm hearing from the text of Ben Simmons leaving the group chat,
not true, bro. Shams confirmed that it's not true. I don't know if Shams is a clutch, like he's a clutch.
That's guy. Okay, he's a clutch, and Ben Simmons is a clutch. So why would he?
I'm not.
Why? Okay,
no, he's not in clutch. He's just very well connected to clutch.
Exactly. If he's very well connected, Ben Simmons is clutch. Why would he come out with something that would defute that?
Because that's his job.
Nah, come on, man. You know it's personal favors, bro.
Yo,
so would it shock you? Would it shock you if Ben Simmons did that?
It wouldn't shock me.
Okay,
but that's why I don't think it happened, because it makes too much sense. It's like too fitting. It's too good to be true,
bro. If it's too good to be true, sometimes it's true, man. He didn't want no smoke.
Gene, you said KD did not want Nash, or they didn't like Nash.
Mm-hmm.
You really think the Nets got 2 superstars to come to Brooklyn and hired a guy who's never coached before without the approval, or at least the okay, from their star players? You really think that happened?
If that's the case, so why is the owner giving pushback now? Because Perk said it.
Because you can't tell him how to run his team.
A few other people, but he doesn't have a basketball background. A lot of owners, you can own the team. James Dolan done owned the Knicks for 30 years. He does not know anything about basketball, bro. That's a fact, right? But I feel like the Nets owner, I think Steve Nash set Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr was a first-time coach, and then he hit, he struck lightning. And now he's a 4-time champion. He's in the finals all the time. I felt like the Nets probably saw that in Steve Nash, who KD and Kyrie probably vibe with, but I don't think they necessarily wanted him as their coach, right? Weren't you saying that they wanted Ty Lue or someone like that?
Yeah, I mean, everyone wanted the Lakers. The Lakers had Ty Lue, and they fumbled. They didn't want to pay him what he wanted. So they literally had an agreement, and then the Lakers didn't want to cough up the bread, and Ty Lue said, well, okay. I'm gonna go.
Which is crazy, because coach's salary don't count against the salary
cap. No, they just didn't feel like.
The problem? It's crazy.
People thought that they were doing that on purpose to not say that LeBron's running the Lakers, because LeBron wanted Lue. He loved Lue. They didn't want people to feel like, well, LeBron's running the show here. He got his guy. He got AD. He got his coach. A whole bunch of nonsense. But I say that to say, do you think Nash? I know you don't like him. You don't love him. You don't think he's the right guy. Did he get a fair shake? I mean, last year, no Kyrie for half the season. A lot of things turn, like you say, a lot of things turn out differently. If Kyrie doesn't, twist his ankle and 2 years ago against the Bucks, then win that series and probably the championship. We're not saying this right now.
Fact. And I'll give you that. So that's why my complaints about him is things I've actually watched during the game, whether it's rotation, look at this last series against Boston, right? We trade for Aldridge and we pick up Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin comes in the game for 7 minutes and he's damn near willing the Nets to victory.
Yeah.
Right? And you have the guy on the bench. Like, I feel like as a coach, you should know, right? You have a lineup with Patty Mills, Goran Dragic, and Seth Curry against Boston, whose average height is like 6'9". I'm just saying, like, it don't add up to me, bro. It's these little things, man. No, he don't get a fair shake, but that's the pros, bro. That's the pros.
So where is KD playing on opening night?
Nah, he ain't going nowhere.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Even after that tweet?
You know why? Because homie from Utah, Rudy Gobert, set the precedents too high. They got too much for Rudy Gobert. So if they got that, what is KD commanding after that trade?
Yeah, but the value has to come down once the guy, Rudy got traded because it was a better situation for the team. He wasn't asking out and making it a toxic environment.
Or it might be the Ben Simmons situation where they just wait to the trade deadline and get rid of KD then. But I think opening the season is either he's going to sit out or he's playing with the Nets. I think the only team that really got a good chance of with the assets to trade him is Boston.
I've been saying that from jump. I said Boston from jump. It made too much sense.
Or Miami. Miami's so hell-bent on Bam Adebayo, who, like, to me he's not that
Simmons
good.
Would have to be in the trade. Bam and Simmons can't be on the same roster because of the rookie extension thingy. So Simmons would have to be included in the trade. And I don't know from reports if KD's trying to hop somewhere else for Ben Simmons, but I don't know. What is Miami if they give up Bam? I'm not saying Bam is,
Listen,
Malone.
if you give a Bam, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, a pick and something else, I think that's a great trade. Because you still got Jimmy Butler, you got KD, and you got some other pieces. You got Kyle Lowry. They're still good shooters, man. And you don't need the biggest team. First of all, Bam is undersized for his position, right? But like you go back and watch that Lakers Bubbles finals. Bam was soft, man. Bam doesn't play to his size, man. Even though he is undersized, but like I watched Charles Barkley at 6'8", 6'9" dominate. Bam don't
Charles
play.
Barkley was 6'6", bro.
Thank you.
Yeah,
power forward. In the league with big men, when centers were the prime position in the NBA, dominating, averaging. I think his highest was 16 rebounds a game. Bam don't give you that, bro.
Still young, so maybe he'll figure it out. Maybe because I think he figures it out. Miami's going to be a threat for years to come.
They're one more piece away.
You say what?
They're one more piece away.
Yeah, I think so. And they think KD's that piece. So we'll see. I don't think KD has to be the piece, but I think he obviously you get a guy like KD, you got a chance to go win it with another guy like Jimmy Butler. We got to close out with this, man. AB's new dance. Put that ish on. Yo, is that not the hottest dance out right now? I mean, LeBron's doing it with Draymond Green. All the NFL guys are doing it.
All the NFL guys. I saw, was it Mookie Betts on the Dodgers was doing it? Like, come on, bro.
Yo, it's everywhere.
AB is one of the only players or like personalities that can always reinvent himself.
Yo, he's really a rapper. Like he's performing
he really wants to be a rapper. He's performing at Rolling Loud. Like, he wants to be a rapper, dude. Like, I'm shocked, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been listening to the song all day today, man.
When I saw the dance, I was like, I need to listen to that song. I went to go listen to it. That's all he actually says in the song. But the song is a vibe, and the dance is it. Like,
it's gonna kill it. It's gonna kill this upcoming season.
Man. All the anybody scores a touchdown or gets a, they're gonna be putting the ish. They're gonna
crazy, man. AB had a miraculous turnaround from leaving the field, talking about, yo, I'm out of here. That's the way you quit your job, man. If I ever quit my job like that, it's like that.
Yo, that's a wrap, man. First Team All Purpose Podcast. Check us out. We'll have episodes for you guys consistently. Holla at your boy. It's Sean. It's JD. Any final words?
No, sir. Peace.